Oh, are we?
We are live. Do you see that? It just says, okay, you're live. Let's see here. Oh, of course, my sound is not working because I didn't check it before we started. But, anyways, let's see if some of the viewers will show. Let's see here. So far, nothing yet. But let me hide this. And I'm sure it's Friday. So usually it takes a while, Maria. But, anyways, folks, hey, 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 this is Mary at Mary Unapologetic. We're starting. And again, this is a live show here. And my special co host for this week is Maria Kallenbach from A1 Tool. You want to say hi, Maria?
Hey, everybody. Good to see you out there. Yes, thanks for joining us.
I know. Okay, so actually what when I invited you, I figured I want to do a segment and I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to do a three-part segment of this topic. So I believe that it would help other women out there to kind of like at least relate and be able to relate and understand that, hey, being a business woman like me and you, or business women, it's really hard when you're also juggling with taking care of the home and taking care of the kids, and also especially depending on how many kids you have. Like I have three and you have three. So can you imagine, like, you're getting pulled like 20 different directions? Oh my gosh, all at the same time. So
Yeah.
even today, you called me, Maria, and you said, Mary, you didn't know it was going to be a live show. You said, Mary, can we push it to 6 o'clock? Because I'm having a bad day today. It was hectic for me. And I'm going to actually let you tell the story because
My.
you'll probably tell it better than me because I am experiencing the same thing for the past 3 weeks.
Oh, no. Well, I don't remember if I said it was a bad day, but it was a very stressful day in
Hmm.
that it was like, at that moment, I just got home and my time is six
Hmm.
o'clock.
Hmm.
Um, and I just got home, walked in the door, and I'm like, okay, I still
Hi,
have to
Corey.
get myself ready. Hey, Corey. Howdy. I had to get myself ready. And then I realized that the internet is down
Hmm.
in my neighborhood. So I talked to John. I'm like, John, the internet is down. He's like, yeah, there's a number to call. And I'm like, no, I have to go live like in an hour. And so I still hadn't walked the dog or taken care of all these other things. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to rush back to work. And I know so, but it was like that all day. It was just constantly from the moment I got up, just go, go, go. And I'm constantly having to work out the problem. There's all these problems that pop up in my day, and I've got to figure out how I'm going to get there or who's going to pick this daughter up. And then John and I had to switch places because it's like one daughter I had to pick up early from school, take her to music lessons.
Hmm.
And then I had to leave to pick up another girl for track. She needed to get out early. Then we both needed to be at a meeting because they're going to go to Paris with the choir. But
Hmm.
my other daughter has to pick out a dress for this Dancing with the Stars. And we've had all kinds of trouble picking out the dress. And so she got it narrowed down to three. And I'm like, we've got to go. So he goes over to help her pick out the dress while I go to the Paris meeting. And it's just, but that's the way it is. We're just multitasking, putting out fires, switching places all day, all day.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm so glad and I'm so happy and I appreciate you for making it happen because I know how you feel because I've been there, done that. And as a matter of fact, this is what's been going on with me too for the past 3 weeks. I have to fill in three positions, two
mm,
paint guys and one admin position because obviously we have, I'm handling three companies with Mike. Actually, He's handling two, I'm handling three because my partner with my bumper business, he's retiring and he kind of like gave me the notification last year. So I started actually last year, Maria, last summer. I started getting some I started looking for a person that does business valuation to
Mm-hmm.
evaluate the business and to properly appraise the business so that way I know how much to compensate him for selling
Mm,
his shares to me. So
yes.
I started last year, and then this year now we're in the transition. Then I found out I'm going to be like short of I'm already short of a paint guy, one paint guy, and I need to replace that. But then by the end of January, I found out that my second guy is actually leaving to work for his brother who has a body shop. So now I'm like, whoa, that was like, I was blindsided. Now I have to look for two paint guys and then an admin person to kind of, help us to support me because I'm juggling with three companies. It's like trying to do operations, dealing with customers, booking, marketing, and
Yeah.
then on top of that, the family and the kids. Oh my gosh, it's
And you've
almost
got
like
your big
working out on
event coming
stair
up.
in, huh?
I was going to say, and you've got your big event coming up. And anytime you
Yes,
have a big event, there's a lot of planning and moving parts that go with that as well.
hmm
So, wow,
yes,
Mary,
y-
you're like,
yes.
you're Wonder Woman. I don't even know why I'm here. You need to be doing the whole show by, I mean, three businesses, three kids. It makes
Well,
me tired just thinking about it. My problem is none of my things go together. And I'm trying to do this yoga thing and the A1 thing and the thing at home. And all three girls, right now, I have two 15-year-olds and a 16-year-old. They're all scrunched up and they've got all these different things going. So I can't imagine three businesses.
well,
That's
let me
crazy.
ask you something, Maria. You
Yeah,
have, okay, the girls are all like teenagers, all, it's close to, the ages are so close to each other, right? So
right.
did you say 216 and 115?
I've got two 15-year-olds right now,
Huh?
and then my 16-year-old, who will be 17 this month, but they're all really close in age.
Okay, so it's about a year apart, between the two
Yeah,
and the one.
year and a half.
So
Yes,
you're probably also juggling with driving, right?
yes,
Going
yes,
with them to.
right. Because
I just
only
went
one
through
of
that.
them can drive, and she has to take her sisters, and she's not really, sometimes it's inconvenient in
Uh-huh,
her world to take people places. And
uh-huh.
so we're just, I'm really looking forward to when they can all drive. That sounds awful, but I'm just like, I can't. I spend so much time driving. The
Well,
logistics of everything is crazy.
I know. Well, luckily with me, I had to like think of something, because I'm the only one that goes with the kids to go driving. I mean, Mike tried it with Avon. That didn't go well.
I don't like to do it. I have the time, more time than John, but he's more laid back. And
Uh-huh.
I am just like, I feel like my mom. I'm like grabbing onto the arm rest and just, it makes me nervous.
Well,
Yeah.
that's how I feel with my daughter. Last 2 days ago, it was like, Triana, what did you do? You changed lane without signaling, or either that you changed lane when you're not supposed to change lane. You took someone else's lane, and I'm like, oh, I was like, well, I wouldn't say hysterical, but I try to keep my cool. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I try to like communicate with her without upsetting her because I don't want her to think I'm yelling at her. But
Right.
then at the same time, I have to be firm. You know what I mean? To find that, I guess, that that the right tone as well as the right wording to make sure that she understands that I'm serious, but then at the same time, not nagging at her. You know what I'm saying? It's like hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what, Mary? I That reminds me, I was listening to a podcast
Hmm.
and this guy was talking about the parent coach.
Uh
And
huh.
he said this parent coach says you should use the words when you, like, instead of saying can you or if you do this, the magic word or phrase is when you, like
Uh-huh.
when you clean your room, then you can do this. So they know it's in their mind. They have to do that before they can do something else. I don't know how to work that into driving. Maybe like when you start driving carefully, then I'll stop the yelling. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but they were talking about the words when you.
When
When,
you.
yeah, it plants in their mind they're going to be doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the next thing. So um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just a little tip.
Well, with me, my technique for, as far as dealing with the kids, because as a parent, especially the mom, you don't want to be looked at as a person who's nagging. Then,
Mhm.
because when they think you're nagging, they're not even going to pay attention to you. And then they're going to look at you as like, oh, okay, enemy number one. Oh, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I have to figure out a way how they can like understand it, but then at the same time I don't have to keep saying it to them. So
Yes.
I always say, look, this is for your own good, as well as I don't like saying it more than
Mhm.
once or twice, you know what I mean? Because I mean, especially the teenagers, the boy and the girl, they
Mhm.
both can see it and understand that once you keep repeating yourself, then they look at you as like, oh, she's just my mom. I'm not going to listen to her. I'm not going to take her seriously. I mean, yeah, she's saying something to me that I need to do, but it's probably in one ear, out the other. And that's the part that I don't want. So that's why I tell them, I need
Yeah.
you to guys pay attention because I'm only going to say it once or twice. Then after that, I expect you to get it. If you
Uh,
don't get it, oh, whoa. It's same thing with the cleaning. I said, look, I gave you too many, I guess, too many chances to make
mhm.
sure that your room is clean or your bathroom's clean.
Mhm.
You don't want me to blow up because when I blow up, it's like Hiroshima. I would say it
Well,
would it
I
would
was
be like
gonna
World War
say,
Three,
I
huh?
was gonna say, my girls are kind of scared of. I guess it's that Latina thing. Like, don't get me mad. I'm gonna say it, and it's
Uh-huh.
gonna happen. It's happening. That's kind of how I put it. And I usually don't have to. I don't feel like I'm nagging, really. I don't
Uh-huh.
think that I do that. I think that, and again, it kind of is like that when you like the room thing. I really don't. I really don't care how their room looks,
Hmm.
unless we're having company
Hmm.
or I do have housekeepers that come, and they're not gonna. I'm not gonna pay the housekeepers to get everything up off the floor and put things in the closet and all that. I mean, that's their job. And
Hmm.
so I'll say, they're coming tomorrow. You need to get this room in order. And they do. They do it. Or if I say we have company coming, they just know that for me,
Yeah.
it's respectful to have your house looking pulled together when you
Uh-huh.
have guests coming. And so they do it. But I don't know. It may be they've seen the Latina side of me times. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? In my mom's culture, like the Filipino culture, yeah, when there's a guest coming, the house is supposed to be clean, supposed to
Yeah,
be,
yeah,
it's supposed to be, I guess, presentable, right?
right.
Because you're having a guest, so you want to be like presentable. You don't want to have like all messy and yeah. But
Yeah.
um, but the only reason why I said nagging because I have my son's actually, he's the social butterfly. Okay, so he hangs out with a lot of boys, but I
Yeah.
hear it from some of the boys that that he hangs out with. He said, "Oh, my mom's talking to me this way again." Blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah, and I just keep my mouth quiet, because I'm like, okay, I'm not saying anything. That's their business.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yes.
so that's why I tell my son. I said, "Look, I don't want to nag, but I do want you to let you know that this is where I stand, and things needs to be taken care of." And he
Yeah.
understand,
Yeah.
but they're so busy too.
Yeah. It sounds like you're a good communicator. And I
Oh
think that's
yes.
important because you're saying, this is what I need you to do, and this is
Mm-hmm.
why. And I've done that as well. I've given my girls the reason, what
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about, like like they're kind of involved in this planning. We
Mm-hmm.
need to be doing this, and
Mm-hmm.
this is how it needs to go. And they kind of pull together on that. So
Hmm.
I think that's good. It sounds like you're, yeah, doing a great job there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously things happen. Like for example, today it was like at 2:30, and I'm about to pick up the little one.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a text, and he said, "Mom, can you time for me because he's swimming. He's swimming from today to Sunday. It's like 4 days straight. He's
Wow.
got this big competition in Carlsbad."
Uh-huh.
Where California and Nevada, they're gonna have like 900 swimmers that are competing with each other. It's called sectional. So anyone who's in the swimming, yeah, in world or industry would know what that means. So he said he's swimming a mile. And so anytime that there's a long distance swimming, they're supposed to provide their timer. And I usually volunteer, but because I'm juggling with stuff, I was training someone today at the shop. Then
Mm.
from there, I went and grabbed my little one from school, and it's like a good 20 miles away from my house, so I had to go through traffic and all that stuff. I wouldn't be able to make it to where he's at, which is north of me. So I said, can you figure something out,
Mm-hmm.
because I wouldn't be able to make it there. And to even ask dad, Mike was actually doing a live show. As soon as I got, went in the shop, he said, I'm doing a live show, and I knew right away he's
Oh,
kind of
no.
giving me a message, don't interrupt me. So I'm like, okay. So I
Yeah,
texted him, Dad wouldn't be able to help you either. You're on your own, kid. Figure it out.
that's good. I think it's healthy to do that to your kids, though. You figure it out because sometimes that's how they learn street smarts.
Yeah.
I tell that to
Hmm.
my kids. And one thing that they tell me, and this is something I don't know how you land on this, but one of the things is I never pack my kids' lunch.
Hmm.
That's up to them. They will either eat the school food or they will bring their lunch. And
Hmm.
I haven't done that since grade school. Like, I don't pack their lunch, that's their business.
Hmm.
I can, and so, but there's a lot of, parents that are showing up. The kids left their Chromebook at home, they left something at home, and then the mom or dad has to bring it,
Hmm.
and that happens all the time. But in my world, I don't have time for that. It's like, if you show up one day and you don't have your Chromebook and that's a problem for you, then maybe you'll remember it next time. That's not my deal. That's your deal. That's on you. And
Hmm.
so I've kind of taught my girls to be like that. And so I think it's good because they've got to figure it out when they're adults. So you might as well start when they're, you know, as they're able.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's good, Mary. I think that's good what you said to him.
Oh,
Figure
thank you.
figure it
Thank
out.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, figure it out. Be
Figure it out.
resourceful.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because these are the stuff or skills that you can teach your kids. It's like everyday things that you deal with in life, right? I mean, something pop up, something happens, like, like something will come up that you very, very, does, and, I guess I wouldn't say very, but that you would not expect,
Yes.
so basically, so something like this came up, and then also I'm teaching him a lesson that, hey, you want me to help you or support you, then give me a heads up, at least a few hours ahead.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
And that's
Then
good.
at least I can figure things out with you.
Right, right. And that's so key right there because a lot of the times that my kids get into some situation, it's because I didn't know, and there's just no way I can do it. And
Hmm.
the things I have to do are more important. It's adult stuff than what they
Hmm.
have to deal with. But so yeah, that's good. Maybe he'll, yeah, get that pulled off. So. Well, that's good though, but I know the guilt you feel too as a parent. It's like if you
Yes.
had the time, you would do
Yes.
that because you love them. You want to be like I always tell my girls, I've got your back. I'm always
Uh-huh.
on your team. I'm Team Elena, Team Anna, Team Dory. That you guys, I'm always for you, as long as, you're in the right,
Yeah.
but I will help you till the end. But
Yes.
but yeah, there's some times where my hands are tied. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, well, there are times too that I would just blow up because finally it's like, I'm usually the type of person that I'm very patient, but then when I see that I don't see any result, then I'm like, I would just, I would just
Uh-huh.
lose it sometimes and blow up. And then I would be like, look, you guys got to pick up your load. I mean, you know what I mean? Pick up
Yes.
your load. I can't help everyone. I need everyone to help everyone in the house. Let's function as a team so that way we can be more productive. And we do that now. But I
Yes.
think that if you perfect that, and obviously, I don't expect too much of a perfection because there's no such thing. But
Mm-hmm.
if there's a problem, then there's always room for growth by improving it, right? So if
Right.
we can perfect that, then we can like function like a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? If I were to
Yes.
compare it, that there's no problem or there's no thing that will arise, even if problem arise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I always like, I even told that to to Gabby. I said, or either that Mike. I'm like, I want everyone in this house to pick up their load. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So that way we can function properly.
Yes.
But because it's hard when you're actually running a business. I mean, you guys have A1 tools. I have three other companies that I run, and I have people that I manage. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I kind of, when I do that along with like I guess the past 3 weeks I've been dealing with, the first week I was dealing with resumes, right?
Mm.
I I'm gonna actually go into this, the hiring process. Like I didn't go. I mean, I covered a little bit with Jack, but I didn't get to do what I wanted to do as far as for the folks out there, because I know a lot of us in the industry are like small business owners. You know what I mean? And then probably some of these people are already in the stage where they need to hire someone. And
Mm-hmm.
because I have a background in HR, then I'm going to tell you guys my process. That's what, I mean, maybe your
Yeah.
process is different than mine, Maria. Are
I'm
you
gonna take
getting a pen and paper?
notes, girl. Because yes, we're all the time. There's it's just the industry changes. If you get busy, sometimes you need to pick up a new person, but
Uh
then
huh.
it's just really hard sometimes
Uh huh.
to, yeah. Anyway, I've got my notepads, I'm ready, I'm listening.
Well, I didn't know you. I didn't expect you to like, you know, take note that you're gonna take notes. But it's okay. It's good actually, because this is probably something you can use. Who knows? Maybe 5 years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, right?
Yeah.
So I had to first figure out what's going on, because for I believe a good 3 weeks to a month, I posted something out there on the newspaper, and then I didn't get a lot of feedback. So I was like, I was trying to figure out what's going on, because back in the old days when we want to fill in, I mean, yeah, fill in a position, you'll put something out there on the newspaper, right? Like for
Mm-hmm.
us, it's San Diego Union Tribune. So
Mm-hmm.
now they also have, gotten better too, that they have offered to me, that they said, Mary, because it's expensive to post something with the newspaper. I think it's between like 500-600, depending on how many words you have there, as well as how long you want it. Also, when you want it posted. In my
Mm-hmm.
case, I wanted to do like the weekends, like a Saturday and a Sunday, like the good
Uh-huh.
old days, like back in the old days, probably in the 80s or 90s, when companies actually want to fill in a position, they'll post something out there with newspaper on the weekends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the classified ads, actually. So I did that, but then the Union Tribune said, Mary, we also do an online thing where we post it on the internet, and now we can also post it in the Spanish version, or Spanish version. So that way we're hitting the English and the Spanish version, right?
Huh?
So we're not limiting our options or choices. So I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
fine. So I thought I would get some feedback right away, and I didn't. So I was like, this thing's taking too long. So I'm like, let me figure this out. And then I finally, with my busy schedule, I finally sat down and I'm like trying to analyze it. I'm like, wait a minute. There are other agencies out there now that I can post my job post. I mean, if I want to do a job post, I can, hire an agency. And actually, it was just so coincident that someone from ZipRecruiter, which I was talking with last year, when I was trying to fill in one of my position, he said, "Hey Mary, maybe you have time now." And he's like hit me up probably 3 or 4 times. And I was like, I kind of felt bad. I was like brushing him off. I'm like, I'm busy, maybe next week or 2 weeks or maybe next month. So finally I sat down with him and I said, you know what? Okay, so give me your sales pitch then. Then he talked to me. He said, Mary, I did my homework already and I actually started the process for you. I have like a few resumes to show you that would fit in, that would fit with what you're looking for as an admin assistant. And I said, oh, okay. And then I said, how much is it a month? It was pretty expensive, Maria. It was like 460 a month. Now, if the way it works is that if you didn't fill in the position within that month, then it will automatically roll over to the next month and charge you again. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, right there, those are the information that I needed to find out because I don't want this to become so expensive more than the newspaper.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I knew right away that I have a window,
Mm.
like as far
Yeah.
as timeline of
Yeah.
when I need to get somebody hired. So, what I need is I told myself maybe within 1 to 2 weeks, I need to be starting interviewing someone.
Mhm.
And then hopefully the third week, I'm like filling in the position. And then the fourth week, I can decide whether I'm going to cancel the membership or the sign up. So that way it'll save me money, right?
Right.
So what ended up happening was the first day I signed up, he gave me, I think, like 5 leads. And then by the following day, I already have like I would say 10 more. But then
Oh,
yes,
that's
yes. And then
good.
and then since and he was giving me the ones that are actually qualified for what I'm looking for, like resume wise, just looking at the resumes. But
Yeah.
he also said, Mary, you have access to our database. And the database had 100 applicants. So
Wow.
so when
That's
I saw that one, I'm like, I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm like, 100
yeah.
applicants. I can't go through all that, but I want to take advantage, right? That's actually better because that means I have 100 different choices or
Right.
you know what I mean? Or
Hmm.
different options. So that's why I was like, okay, I just got to do this really efficiently and effectively. So I have to strategize. So
Hmm.
the first week, I think the first 3 days, I was already calling people. And then I started to find out that, wait a minute, these people have applied, and put in their resume with the agency, but somehow they're not looking out for their emails or their, messages because I would email them as well as leave them a message that I am reaching out to them because I am conducting an interview and I would like to interview them. Most of the time, actually 99.9%. If I left a message and if I emailed them, I only got one return call.
Why?
Out of probably seriously the first week, out of probably like 10 to 15 resumes that I went through. Then when I did finally got a hold of someone, then automatically I started interviewing them right on the spot
Yes.
via phone. And
Yes.
that one can take from 15 minutes to 30 minutes because you want to be prepared. You want to have your questions ready.
Hmm.
I talked about this at PDR 20. You need to screen your applicants or your potential employee. And to do that is you need to have, questions that are behavioral questions to kind of understand who you're dealing with. You know what I mean? So I had my questions ready. And then depending on the positions you're filling, you need to customize it for that positions. Like, what are you looking for, right? Do you want them to have 5 to 10 years experience? Do you want them to be, um, what do you call this? Have an extensive experience with applications or, all the other stuff that you want them to do, right? So
Yes.
I have that already. So I started doing my phone interviews, and then if I think that they are potential, then I right away before I hang up, I said, you know what, I want to conduct a second interview in person. So they
Hmm.
either come to my shop or I'll meet them halfway to make it easy for them.
Hmm.
And I'm going to meet them halfway from where they're coming from. So I think all in all, I did, oh my gosh, Seriously, at one point in one day, I did 4 interviews, and each of them took from 30 to 45 minutes. And then I had 2 meetings. This is just all in one day. It
Mm,
was like hectic for me that day. After that day, Maria, I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't have it in me to do anything or to cook. We're going out, you know?
right, right,
And then
yeah,
yeah, and then I started delegating my kids to do stuff. You're doing this, you're doing this, dad, you're helping out.
yes,
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 because I can't do everything, right? And this is important because I have a timeline, like what I said earlier, that I need to do this within a month, and and if I think my goal is if I don't fill in the position within the month, I'm the type of person that I feel bad that I didn't achieve my goal. So,
yes.
so I'm motivated, right?
Hmm.
So, well, guess what? I met, I think I met, uh, yeah, I met 3 applicants in person for the second interviews. And then I think I booked 4. One didn't show up. So right away, when that person didn't show up because she had a lame excuse. She said she was helping her previous employer or her current employer with some plumbing problem on a Saturday, by the way. And I told her, I said, I'm willing to wait. Our appointment was at 2 o'clock, and I said, I'm willing to wait. Just let me know or text me when you're available. She didn't let me know. So I said, ah, taking her off my list. She is not, I'm not even gonna pursue her because it's gonna be a waste of time. So
Yes.
that woman is out. So through this process, the first person that I actually did a second interview after I told her what I'm looking for, what what support she's going to do for us, because I told her that I have 3 businesses or 3 companies that I'm running. She said,
Hmm.
Mary, you need 3 of you. You need 3 of you because just listening to you or what you're doing is like so much. And
Yes.
she wasn't even looking for. Anyway, if you're listening to me, because I know one time she said, Mary, she did her homework. She's a very smart woman, and I like that because
Hmm.
she said, when she sat down with me on our first in-person interview, she said, I actually listened to some of your episode on your podcast, and she told me a little bit of what each in the episode is.
Uh-huh.
That's when I knew that she really did listen to it.
Yes.
And then she said, and I like the fact that she's straightforward with me and she's very honest and transparent. She said, look, I'm not looking for a full time position. I actually just want a part time position. Maybe I can support you in other ways, but I'm not your gal. And then she also said that knowing now what you're doing and what you do, you're going to need someone who's really have it together,
Hmm.
cannot be below what you're expecting, because she knows. That's how I know she's smart, because she's basically trying to tell me that I need someone who's very organized, who's very experienced, who also I guess self-starter, that you
Hmm.
don't have to micromanage. And
Yes.
that's what, yeah, she told me all of this, which I already knew. And so I said, I really appreciate your input, because I know I'm on the right track, because this is what I was already have in mind. I know I'm on the right track when another person is kind of like telling it to me and validating what I already know. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
So she's just reminding me, Mary, don't settle for anything less than you should. And I usually don't.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yes.
that's why I welcome her input, because I already know. That's why I do all these second interview, because even though I'm desperate, because obviously I'm juggling with so much. I don't do shortcuts. And the reason why I don't do shortcuts, even with my hiring process, is because I want to hire someone that is a right fit for us, that I know would be a team player and would be good and will contribute a lot for my business, that I'm not gonna micromanage. And that's why I haven't hired anyone for the longest time, because I've seen it so many times from working for small business to medium business to big organization where every employee is different, right?
Right.
Because it's my colleagues. I used to work with these people that
Hmm.
we would, I would come across an employee that's like, you literally have to micromanage. But that's why I said, I know what I'm going to be looking for when I'm hiring someone. And these are all the qualities I'm looking for and nothing
Hmm.
less. And so that's why I'm taking my time and that's why I'm screening it
Yes.
properly. Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
So,
That's amazing, Mary. Thank you for sharing that because I'm sitting here thinking anyone that gets a job from you is going to feel so honored. And it would just be like, wow, I got this job. And they're going to know that you put an incredible amount of trust in them. I mean, and that's the hard part, right? Finding people that care about your business as much as you do. That,
mm-hmm,
they've got
mm-hmm,
to think like an employer.
mm-hmm,
And that's really difficult for some, you know,
mm-hmm.
but
And
it's
not
really,
only
yeah, go ahead.
and not only that, Maria, hi Bobby. I just noticed this because I was in the moment. Bobby's in the house. Hi.
Hey, hey, Bobby.
So also I want people to know because I think this is what is a miss out there, okay? That when you hire someone, especially someone right? I
Hmm.
For me, when I hire someone I know, let's say even I have family members that have worked for me before, but I usually tell them straight up from the get-go that we may be related, but for me, business is business, pleasure is pleasure. You have to separate that. You cannot commingle that. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I tell my people, or I tell them that I want to give you an opportunity to work for me, and you're gonna learn a lot from me too, because it's like a mutual. It's like a win-win. The way I look at it, it would be a win-win, right? I'm teaching them something too, and then at
Yeah,
the same time, I'm kind of mentoring them. But then at the same time, they're supporting me as long as they're willing to learn from me, right?
right.
So, so for me, it's like I wanna have a relationship with these people where I got your back, you got my back. If you treat me good, I'll
Mm-hmm.
even treat you better. That's my
Wow.
mentality.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You treat me good, I'll even treat you better than you treat me. So,
Wow.
so, so for me is that I always tell it to people straight up. Look, outside work, we can have fun, we can go out, but when we're working and if you are clocked in, then I want us to be professional. I
Hmm.
want us to, I want us to treat each other as like colleagues, right? Like in a professional environment.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that way, there's no miscommunication as far as, oh, I didn't know that I'm supposed to do that. Oh, I didn't know I'm not supposed to do that. So that's what I'm saying. The do's and the don'ts of Bobby is saying something again. Something here. Hold on. There you go. We all need help each other in this business. Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Uh-huh. So, anyways, I when I saw the 100 resumes as far as potential applicants that I can, go through and screen
Uh,
for the position that I'm trying to fill, I got excited. I knew right away I just have to work extra hard to find that right person.
yes.
And then from you interviewing them, depending on how you ask the questions, you can tell a lot about the person. Because I'm gonna tell you, Maria, and it's no secret. That's why sometimes Mike said Mary is like an attorney, like a prosecutor. She'll
Yes.
ask you the same question in different ways to get the answer from you.
Oh, I love it, Mary. That's so funny. That is
because
so funny.
Because here's the thing, when they start talking to you or even me, you can tell a lot about a person already. And I'll tell you what, in our industry, a lot of people actually, I've heard it from a lot of people. They said, oh, I dealt with this person and I didn't know this person is this kind of person. So along the way, I don't know a nice way to say it. my mouth sometimes is like a man, I just say stuff that's like, okay, I'm just going to say the word. Okay. So some people, and I've heard it in the past, they said, so I didn't know what kind of person I was dealing with and I got screwed. That's the word that I want to say. I just
I've
didn't know
heard
the
that.
nicest way to,
I've
huh?
heard that. Yeah, they feel like they've gotten taken advantage of.
There you
You
go.
know,
I guess that's a
they
nice way
gave
of saying it.
they gave their all. They
Hmm.
showed up. They did the work, and when it came time to get paid, they didn't. And
Hmm.
that would be so heartbreaking. I think for me, I like to believe the best in everyone,
Hmm.
and so that would be so hard, so difficult. But yeah, I
Hmm.
think they could learn some lessons from you, Mary, and maybe you can do a show on how to how to get to know someone and by asking them the same thing over and over. That'd be a
How
good
to
one,
read people.
right?
So
How to
actually,
read
it's how to
people.
read people.
Yeah,
Now, here's the
that's a
thing
good
about it,
one.
Maria. It doesn't matter if you have a business, or it doesn't matter if it's in our industry, or it doesn't matter if you're meeting a new person outside, outside our industry.
Yeah.
Um, it's always good to know how to read people, because
Mm-hmm.
you're dealing with people with different personalities. Not everyone's going to be good people with good hearts, right?
Right.
And there are people out there that are bad, and they're going to put a facade. And there are also people, and they know how to hide it. You know what I mean? If they're really good at it and they have the game, they know how to hide it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's up to you as a person, so that way you don't get screwed, or you need to know how to read people. So I think that's why, and not a lot of people think like, you know what, I need to be trustworthy, so that way our relationship will be strong, and also will be strong and will last a long time, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
old mentality, I think this is our grandparents mentality even, that hey, if I'm meeting you for the first time, we need to be truthful to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, over time, that changed, it kind of evolved. Not a lot of people think like that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So for us, we really need to, like, in order for you to get to know someone, and whether you can say, hey, I trust that person or not, you really need to know how to read people. And the trick is, Bobby C messages again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what is this? Oh, thank
That's so
you.
thank you, Bobby.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh. So the trick is, when you are trying to read people, whether somebody you're gonna conduct business with or not, you need to start paying attention the minute they start talking to you,
Yeah.
because whatever they're saying, you can read up a little bit about their personality already. And then if you really want to go and figure it out, you can learn from them. I mean, you can learn about them from knowing their history.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you've heard of the term back in the old days, like when parents meet their kids, significant other, they usually say, "Hey, so and so, your boyfriend came from a good family, and we welcome your boyfriend."
Mm-hmm.
Because they already knew that, hey, we know those people, they're good people because of their past history, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
trick is the past history.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm like you in that I don't ask so many questions. I just sit and listen to people because I believe that whatever's in the heart is going to come out the mouth. And
Mhm.
so I can listen. And sometimes people just seem so full of themselves. And then you realize they must be selfish.
Mhm.
Can I really count on them to, be helpful to me in this situation? Or are they just, I don't know. I just listen to what they say. And so I'm a listener when it comes
Mhm.
to meeting people. But I don't have the good questions that you probably do. I need to come up with some good questions. But yeah, there is a lot about reputation. I tell that to my girls. I'm like, wherever you go, you are representing the Kallenbach family.
Mm-hmm.
And not just me and your dad. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about Bill and Judy. We're talking about your
Mm-hmm.
dad's parents. They know my family. You everywhere you go, you're representing the our family and the church is what I tell them too,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want them to be hypocrites out there, and
Mm-hmm.
that's important to me with our faith.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know, so I think it is. You can read a bit about a person's, by
Mm-hmm.
their family. And yet, I'm a little careful with that too, because sometimes I've seen people that have grown up in some very difficult circumstances and they've been able to pull it together.
Mm-hmm.
They are not like the way they were raised. It's
Mm-hmm.
like there's something in them that said, I don't want this life. I want
Mm-hmm.
something better. And so I don't always, you know, hold people to that. But if it was my girls as, husbands to be, that's going to be my grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
grandchildren's grandparents. So that would
Mm-hmm.
matter to me. But just in general,
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone, has the responsibility to gain their own, self
Mm-hmm.
worth. I don't think they
Mm-hmm.
should have to be chained to how they grew up. So I don't know. It kind of
Mm-hmm.
goes both ways, I guess.
Yeah, well, see, the thing too is that Maria, like for example, when I'm meeting someone, professionally, like in business, there's a Bobby Z's got another comment here. Many blessings to you both. Need to run for okay. Bye, Bobby.
Right.
um, and also the thing too is that you got to understand that when you're because we deal, we own our own companies. We deal with people all the time, right? It's called customer service, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's the people that we deal with in the industry or even like our customers.
Mm-hmm.
um, Obviously when we're dealing with customers we don't have to worry about it because it's just customers, but when you're doing like business dealing with other people,
Mm-hmm.
as far as whether you're going to collaborate or do something together,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
usually look at the past history of the person. And the
Yes.
reason why you want to look at the past history of the person, because you want to read the person when they are not trying to pretend to be someone else, because it's their past history. They did it, like for example, what I am 10 years or 20 years from now, if I'm different than what I am right now, then that means either I change for the better, or
Yeah.
maybe I'm like hiding something, right? But for me, I don't, the way I look at it is like, if you're not hiding something, then you can be as transparent as you want. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're open to scrutiny, right?
Yes.
Because the minute you avoid, or the minute you uh, don't want scrutiny, that means you're hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
then that's,
we're going to have the adversity. I mean, we've been under that radar before, and it's like, but if you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to hide.
mm-hmm,
Even though you may be accused of something, if you didn't do,
mm-hmm,
it's your motivation. You have no guilt because you didn't, you don't have anything to worry about, I guess, if you
yes,
just try to do things the right way. You
uh-huh,
have nothing to hide from. And so that's one thing that I think is important.
yeah,
Important.
it's
Yeah.
important to learn this, and it's
Mm-hmm.
important to know this, so I also teach it to my kids, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are certain things in life that nobody, yeah, I mean, there's no books to learn it from, right? Or there's nobody, or nobody will like, I guess nobody out there can teach us, like let's say a university that can teach this to us, right? So it's like you just learn it as you go. That's why they say as you get older you have more wisdom, because you've experienced so many things already. Maybe by the time you're middle age, this is where it comes from, right? And if the more you travel to, you learn about people's different cultures, and you know uh, different places, and the way different places works, compared to ours over here in United States. I mean, yes, there's so many ways you can learn from different people, and then from there you gain life experience.
Mm-hmm.
Then it becomes, hopefully you learn from it and becomes wisdom, right?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. So Anyway, so the hiring process, going back to it, was very chaotic for me. So now I think this is my third week. I have finally, within a week, I think probably like 3 days in a row, or maybe even 2 days in a row, I hired three people. You know,
Wow,
I filled in all the positions that I needed to fill in.
good for you. I'm happy
Yes.
for you. Just just knowing all that you've been through, that's congratulations. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And then not only that, this whole week, starting Monday, I was setting up my paint guy. You know, we had to set up the van because the van wasn't used for like a good 6 months. So
Uh-huh.
now we're troubleshooting problems because we have like computer that we use for paint that doesn't work. So it's because it
Hmm.
hasn't been turned on for 6 months. So now it's just troubleshooting problems and fixing
Yes.
problems, trying to remedy it to make it workable again. So for my new technician,
Yes.
to use. And then
Yes.
I'm training the new gal that I hired,
Uh-huh.
and getting her familiarized with our business, and like organizing the shop. So I'm like doing this simultaneously while I'm dealing with my kids, because I remember, I believe it was like 2 days ago, I was trying to do a live video regarding our mega media event. I was showing
Oh,
the canvas.
yes.
Yeah, the canvas that they can order from David. And then my daughter called me after I just spoke to her, and she said, she's starting to call me, and I'm trying to fix the phone. Then I must have pressed something else. Next thing you know, my video was going like landscape and then portrait landscape. And I'm like, hold on, guys, I got to end this. And I came back on right away, said, take two, and I
I
said,
do that before. Yes. Yes.
yeah, I said, wait a minute, take two. And then after that, I'm like, I only have like less than 5 minutes because I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Took care of her, then came back to the shop to do
Yes.
more stuff at the shop, then pick up my other kid. Oh my gosh, this is the crazy life we live in, Maria. It's like, I know you have days like this because even today, we were like scrambling. And today I was like, oh man, I got to do a podcast. I mean, I don't know if I have it in me, but I'm going to
Yes.
make it happen because I made an announcement. So,
Yes. And sometimes it's good to set an announcement because it holds you accountable. Because
mhm,
sometimes it is so easy to just say, all right, this cannot happen. There's no way. But yet, even with everything I went through, I was sitting right here ready to go at the 5 o'clock. I had clicked on the thing, but I didn't want to come on because I thought I need to check my hair. And I'm like, so then I saw your text and I'm like, okay, I'm going to click on. So I did. But it's, do you feel like you almost have this strange way of getting exactly where you need to be at just the right moment? Like somehow you can somehow pull it together if you have to sometimes.
uh-huh.
And that's the way it goes for me. I'm like, there's no way this is going to happen. And then I realize it has to happen. That's the best thing to happen is for this to happen. So I just crunch everything together and then, here you are. So
Yeah, and I
that's
really appreciate it because when you said, Mary, you didn't realize it was a live show. So when you said, Mary, can we actually do it at 6? And I said, okay, let me just make an announcement, for people to
yeah,
know that was.
I was like, no, that's not the right thing for you to have to do.
And
I
I
was
really, really appreciate it because you know what? I'm like, yeah, she's cowboying this, It's like when she's put in a situation, it's like do or die. You just like do it.
I
Just
love
do
that.
it,
Do or
right?
die. Yes. Well, that's the thing. Is sometimes you've got to just pull it together. And what I find funny is that often you can do
Hmm.
it. You
Hmm.
can.
Hmm.
But you just think it's the end of the day. I just walked, I've got things to do. And I thought, but no, when I knew you'd put that announcement, I'm like, nope, we're doing this. We're
I'm
going to make
glad.
it happen. So, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad. I'm glad. I'm glad that it's actually happening. And then not only that, I was like, you know what? I have a different, um, I would say, a different outlook when it comes to, I guess you would say, like respect, a different respect towards you, Maria, because
Oh,
the fact that you're like, I'm gonna make it happen, Mary. I know, because I heard it, from your voice. I'm like, okay, she's drained too, like me. Actually,
exactly.
I was so tired as soon as I got home, and Mike was right behind me because we both drove different cars because I had to pick
Yes,
up my daughter right after the
yes.
shop. As soon as I got home, I just sat on the couch and I said, nobody talks to me. I just need a 15-minute nap before I go on the podcast with Maria.
Oh my goodness, that's
But
great.
but 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 then I realized when you said, "Okay, Mary, we're gonna make it happen." I said, "Oh man, I have yes, I have different. I guess I look at you in a different light now. I have more
Oh,
respect towards you that I'm like, wow, she made it
woo.
happen."
Well,
So
I'm glad I. Woo. Yes, go me.
actually, it was like last time when I was talking to Jack. I said, Jack, um, give me 15 minutes. I need to set something up, and then I need to do my makeup. It's not going to take me that long. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I actually talked to him before we got on, I said, whoa, I'm so glad that I can put my makeup on in 15 minutes to 30 minutes, because when I used to be a teenager, it would
Oh,
take me an hour to do it.
yeah.
But
Yes.
now when you become a mom and you have three kids and you have
Mhm.
work, you
Yeah.
can make things happen in 20 minutes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
and
That's
and then
funny.
he looked at me, Maria. He's like, "Well, how long does it normally take women to get ready?" I said, "Women can get ready from an hour to 2 hours,
I
right?"
know. I can take a real long time if I just really fine tune everything and let the makeup set before you put the next level on. And yeah, I can make it, I can stretch it out there for sure. But yeah.
Well, the reason why I know is because when I was when I was a teenager, I time myself a good hour from doing my makeup, and then my hair. I don't need to do too much to my hair, probably like a good 5 minutes, but
Hmm.
I can take a whole hour just doing my makeup because everything has to be perfect.
Uh,
It needs to be like matching, my eyeliner,
hmm.
but now I realize as a mom, and this is, I guess, it started when I had Triana, that's my
Yes.
second kid. I'm like, wait a minute, I have two kids and then I have to manage the business too. I gotta like minimize, and I gotta like, you know, shorten the time of how long it takes me to get ready.
That's funny. I know. Well, you know what's funny to me is that for lunch, I often have water and this little kind bar. It's like nuts and peanut butter and chocolate. It's like a protein bar. That's what I usually have for lunch because I don't have time. And so
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'm running back and forth and I go to A1 and John's like, "Well, we're going to lunch. You want to come?" And I'm like, "No, I've got no time for that. No, I'm going to have my water and my protein bar." And I'm just staying there the whole time because I know I've got to get my work is always interrupted by
Hmm.
picking someone up or taking something somewhere. And so I don't get a full day or a full, and I don't work full time anyway because I'm doing all these other things, but I my work, whatever I'm doing, it's always interrupted. So I just that's kind of how I have almonds, a little box of almonds in my car, and I just eat that. Like that, those are my potato chips, and that's what I
Uh-huh.
eat on the go. Is I'll have my bottled water and some nuts, and so anyway,
Uh-huh.
make things happen quickly. I've got no time to sit down and eat while the
Yeah.
day.
Well, see, that's the same thing with me, Maria, because
Yeah.
we're so busy dealing with um, our work life and the
Mm-hmm.
kids or the family, that I don't even have time to actually sit longer than 3 or 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm always on the go and I'm always getting interrupted. And then
Yes.
not only that, when I do go to lunch with Mike, it's probably like later. So my lunchtime is around 3 or sometimes
So funny.
4. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
John eats a late lunch, but he has to eat. But he will eat a late lunch most days.
Uh-huh. That's what
Yeah.
happened. Yeah, that's what happened with us too. And then so sometimes I'm like, well, I'm eating lunch really late. So, and then I'm like thinking when I do that, I only eat very, very small because it's already late. I knew that it's close to dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
or, I mean, sushi is good for me, to
Yeah.
like eat small, something
Yeah.
light before dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then, speaking of being interrupted, that's what happened with me, yesterday. Because from me training someone at the shop, showing her everything that needs to happen. Then I have to run in, halfway me training her. I said, you gotta hold down the fort. I'm gonna run because I gotta take my dog to the vet. And then not only that, I have to come back to take care of some business before I pick up my younger kid, and then
Mm-hmm.
I gotta come home, do make more phone calls. So it's like bananas.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
I would say it's bananas, and it's been like that for a good 3 weeks straight for me.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, I'm just like, and I remember, Maria, there was a time where before I went to bed, I said, God, I know I'm gonna get through this, but please just give me that person quickly, whoever I need to hire to fill in the admin position, so that way I don't have to take my time going through the resumes again, calling people, conducting second interviews. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
then my prayers heard because I was like, oh, I found my person and she's the perfect fit. She's got the personality
Yes.
and the motivation, So I was like,
Good.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, and it just gives you a peace. That's what I am a prayer, and it gives me peace just to let it go. Like I just have such a trust, and yeah, it's good. It's good for the soul. And I love that. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
made some notes here, okay? Because like I don't want to, normally when we go on this podcast, I usually say, "Oh, I'm gonna cover this," and then I ended up not covering it. That's why I usually make a little note.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I just want to remind folks that this this segment, it's going to be three parts, and it's basically I'm going to invite more women who's also running their own businesses in the industry. So there's going to be quite a few. I know I have reached out to Christina,
Hmm.
and who else do we know? Crystal,
Oh,
right? Chris,
Crystal, she is
y-
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. So I haven't reached out to her, but you know what? I am going to reach out to her because this is going to be a three-part segment of inside the life of business women. You know,
Ooh, yes,
it's like,
that's right.
yeah, because it's,
I'm
I mean, how
honored.
do we hold it together when we're juggling with all these,
Hmm.
you know, pieces
Yes,
in our lives, right?
yes,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing that I actually want to cover, hold on, okay? So I covered the I usually have a checklist. You know why? So we don't forget.
Right.
So,
I
so,
like a checklist. Yep.
so Maria, it's like being organized and getting more organized after being organized.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Though, because
it's
yeah,
it's
you've got to
almost like
create the
working out
steps to
on
get the
steroids.
right because you have to, write out what you need to do, and then you've got to fine tune it. What are the steps that need to happen to get this done? And
So
so,
that way, yeah,
yeah.
so that way it will run smoothly and we don't miss anything. And we want to minimize the chaos in our lives. I think that's the trick, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't last this long.
Right.
And I know for a fact we talked about how do you decompress.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I'm gonna share it. Like last, I think it was this week, I was so stressed for the last 2 weeks straight. As a matter of fact, I've been stressed since last year because it was like one thing after another. Something always comes up. You know what I mean? Uh, I feel like I'm just like trying to catch up when I know I'm not that behind because I'm organized, but it's just like there's a lot of changes happening in
Yes.
people's lives, including mine you
Yes.
know so what ended up happening is that 2 weeks of this hiring process, it gave me a knot and like a pain on my shoulder, because whenever I get stressed, I can feel it on my neck
Yes.
and my
You need a
shoulder.
massage. Yes. Do you get massages, Mary? Do you get
Yes, that's
massages?
what I was going to talk about.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
what ended up happening was I said, you know what, You know, one good thing about me, I know when to stop. I told myself I need to book an appointment and make that phone call to see what's available today because I don't think I can last until tomorrow. I need that not taken care of.
Yes.
So I made a phone call. Luckily, there was availability open that day. Literally the same day I called, I got in. And so I told my husband, "You got to pick up the little one because I got to go get a massage." I don't know if I,
But it's
I
important. Self-care right there.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that's how I took care of it. And then after that, I felt like rejuvenated. I felt like, okay, I can last for another week and a half again until my next massage because I think
Right.
I need to follow up because
Yes.
even with the 1 hour massage that I booked, I got so caught up with my work at the shop that
Oh,
I was 30 minutes late. So they only gave me the 30 minutes instead of an hour. So it was like, so
yeah.
which is understandable. That was my fault. You know what I mean? But at
Right.
least it got me, I guess it fixed me, for that day and the whole week. Because now I feel better.
Yes. I'm a firm believer in massages.
Mhm.
John and I'm just going to share this. So, John and we have a woman that comes to our house once a month.
Wow.
She gives John a 1 hour, and I get 1.5 hour once a month because
Uh-huh.
I just feel like, it's so, like what you said, it's so relaxing. She
Stressful.
works out any issues I have. Um, I've done this for years.
Hmm.
And, especially after my accident, it was so nice in some way to share what's going on here that people can't see with someone
Hmm.
that's become like a friend who's not my husband, and just to say, here's what I'm dealing with, and she
Hmm.
can, do scar massage and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I just kind of use it as a time to just imagine. Like I
Hmm.
imagine that I'm getting this person that's healing me, that's
Hmm.
giving me arms to make me stronger to handle the month ahead, or my feet will be able to walk farther. And I just kind of go within myself, and I love it, and I
How
can't.
did you find your woman, your
Well,
massage therapist? How did you find her? Because that's nice that she comes to your house.
it is. Well,
You
what
don't have to
happened
drive to
was,
them.
yeah. So what happened was, she used to work in our town,
Uh-huh.
and we both knew her. She was someone we knew,
Uh-huh.
and she moved about 30 miles away, but it's like about an hour by the
Hmm.
time you get there across town. And so I was going through a rough time, and I just said, "Can you? Is there any way you can do a massage?" And I think she said, "I've moved. I'm not doing it, but I can come to you. Do you have space?" And what's funny is I had been getting massages somewhere else, prenatal massages,
Hmm.
and the lady was moving to Florida, so I bought her massage table thinking, "Oh, this will be fun. I'll massage John." But then we never had time, But I thought, "Ooh, I'll do this and I'll set it up." So I had a massage table. She had one too, but I just said, "Hey, I've got one here. You can just come on over, and we have this room, and I've got my music, and it is just it's something that we do once a month." And
Oh,
I mean,
that's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
very,
good for
very good.
us. Yeah.
Yes.
Another way that I decompress is that music. I listen to a good music that can relax me, you
Yes.
know. And if anything, I don't know if you've noticed, music can change your mood.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it depends also on what music. I go through. I have a playlist,
Mhm.
so when I like something, I save it. So to my
Yeah.
playlist. So when I'm tired and I know I need to like calm myself down, I would
Mhm.
listen to music as I'm driving. Because
Yeah.
I drive like 20, 30 miles just to pick up my kid from school.
Right.
You know, that's like one way.
Yes.
Like one way. So it's like almost like an
Yes.
hour of driving. So right there, if I'm stressed, and then I do my thinking while I'm driving too. So
Yes.
yeah. So music, that helps me a lot too.
Mary, that's what I did today. I put on one of my yoga playlists
Mm-hmm.
and it settled me down because I had all this running to do
Mm-hmm.
and I just put it in there and it reminds me of being in the yoga studio and I just kind of calm down.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe music does, can pep you up or make you feel strong or
Yeah.
calm you down.
Calm you down. It change you. Yeah, it will change your mood. Yeah,
It
it
is
will.
a mood changer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I love that you do that. I do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like today I'm like, okay, it was crazy yesterday, it's crazy today again, and I'm trying to deal with multiple things at the same
Mhm.
time. So I'm like, I need to relax. I need to listen to a good music that's going to relax me. And then on my way home, I was like, okay, this is good. Now I'm kind of like uh recharge again for the
Mhm.
podcast. You know what I mean? I think I can make this happen today. But like I said, there are times that we're like, we question ourselves. Can I make this happen? I know I need to make it happen, but what can I do to
Mhm.
get there? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is part of my, let's see here. I think I covered my hiring process here about hectic schedule. And I think what I want to do, what I want to cover now is our mega media event. And
Yes.
the reason why I want to cover this is because people have actually asked Mary, I heard about it or I've seen it once, and then after that, I didn't hear about it. Now, folks, you guys understand, Mike and I are actually running three companies. While he's running two, I'm running three
Mhm.
because I'm full time with Bumper Time.
Mhm.
And then the fact that I have to fill in three positions, for our businesses, it's like we're busy. So I can't be on social media or I can't be doing live podcast or live show, or live Facebook,
Mhm.
promoting it all the time. But I do promote it whenever I can or whenever I'm on my social media live, right? So, as a reminder, folks, anyone who wants to attend Mega Media 5.0, I just want to let you guys know that the pictures will be different than the previous one that we've had in the past, as well as the background will be different. I mean, that's what we actually do. The reason being is because I'm a firm believer that every time you do something like this, it should be different. Even when
Yeah.
I do presentation, it's always different. What I've talked about at PDR 20 for my presentation is totally different than what I did at MTE.
Mhm.
I mean, there will probably a little bit of overlap of information, but it's totally different.
Mhm.
So you don't want to miss this mega media event, because what I'm going to talk about and Mike's going to talk about on this 5.0 mega media event, it's going to be totally different than next year, as well as the pictures. Because I'm already, me and David have already talked about the photo shoots, how we can make it different, as well as the cars.
Wow.
I'm doing an exotic cars. I'm actually gonna have a
Ooh.
McLaren. Okay, I'm not promising anything, but I have gone. My choices were McLaren. Let's see. I made a list: McLaren, Rolls Royce, the Ghost. Okay, and then these are my choices. The My contact person is not promising me anything yet. He told me contact me again 2 weeks from your event date, because we're gonna figure out what's available. It's too early to
Yeah.
figure it out right now because he doesn't know what cars available at that time.
Mhm.
I I like to be ahead. Maria. I mean, if you think about it, I'm 2 months ahead. Sometimes I'm like 6 months ahead. When I plan my vacation, it's 6 months ahead. I'm a
Yes.
planner.
Wow. Yes, you are. You
Because that's
are.
where you get all the discounts in, and bargains, right? As far as airfare, as far as hotels, as far as I also research when I go on vacation, like the areas where we're going to, so that way I don't miss anything. Even
Mhm.
the restaurants, research everything thoroughly. So, anyways, so although we're probably 2 months away or a month and a half away, I'm not doing the calculation exactly right now. I want you guys to know that the hotel discount is going to expire on March 29. It's going to be this month. So if you guys are thinking of staying at Hampton Inn, make sure they need to book before the 29 or on the, on 29. Other than that, they're not going to get the discount anymore. And may I remind you, I just don't want to have to renegotiate this with the person that I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? Doesn't
Mhm.
look good if I have to renegotiate it. She might
Mhm.
think I don't have it together, and I don't like that.
Yes. Yes.
And then, second is that our seats are limited. So please sign up. It's basically the mega, the mega media. The website is the megamediaevent.com. So the megamediaevent.com.
Mhm.
And it's going to be April 28th to the 29th. Let's see here. I talk about the photo shoot, and we're going to have some photos at the shop, which is going to be held at Anson. I don't want to release or I don't want to give out too much of a details, but because I want it to be surprise. But like I said, this is going to be different than the previous mega media photo shoots that we've done. But because I'm into arts. Actually, I avoided. I think I told you, right, Maria, that when I was in high school, although I'm part Asian and part Caucasian, you know, uh, I, I didn't like math. I thought I
Oh,
wasn't good in math, and then science like just scared me. So to avoid math and science, I took a lot of electives. So
yes.
I took a lot of what do you call this? Arts, art classes.
Yes.
I,
That's
yeah,
good for you. Yes.
yes. I even took oceanography as well as art history. So
Wow.
all the Renaissance time, the medieval times, I have like studied it, and it was interesting. It was so fun actually. So
Yes.
because I'm artsy, but I also knew as an artist, because I wanted to be like, like maybe somebody like Monet, you know what I mean? Like
Uh,
Van Gogh. But then I realized after taking, art classes and, the history of it, that a lot of artists doesn't really make money back in the old days. The only time they made money is when they became famous. And
mhm.
that's the only time that the value of their art became more valuable, you know what I mean? And priceless.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, I can't do that. I have to support myself. So I got to like change my major.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But it's always in me. Once you're an artist, you're an artist. So that's why me and David and, Mike, because Mike does a good photo editing. So
Yeah.
for every pictures that we put out there, he does the editing part. So the quality is the same thing that you see when we do our social media marketing, as far as our website and our Instagram, even the videos that we produce.
It
Yeah.
is so amazing. I just admire you all for that. It is amazing. It
Yeah.
is.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So we have some ideas of how we're going to shoot the photos, and I don't want to give out too much. And then let's see. So I talked about hotels. I talked about the cars. There would be exotic car or cars there. And then um, we just want you guys to show up. The seats are limited, so sign up as soon as you can because we only have like what, less than 2 months, maybe a month and a half. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is. So,
Yeah. Well,
and then
good.
open house. The Anson PDR, they will have an open house on Saturday, I
Yes.
believe at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Are you
Amazing.
gonna be there?
I think we're going to be there. I
You
think John said that we are. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So I'll get to
Yeah.
see you. I never get to see you for long, though. You're just everywhere. We're all,
Oh,
it's
I don't
crazy.
stay in one place too long because I'm like dealing with a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? But I know Anson, because I talked to Christina. Christina also said that I believe after Saturday open house, they're gonna have something at, Craig and Mimi's house,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of like a dinner party or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Have you been in one of those?
No, I've not been to one of those. We
Oh,
are
really?
usually busy when they're doing their open house.
Mhm.
That's hail season, and so we're usually very busy. And so last year was the first year, they
Mhm,
had their new place and it was
mhm.
after COVID. So we went and enjoyed that. But we've not been to their home. But
Oh, that's
it
the fun
amazes
part of
me
it.
that they're so hospitable. I'm just
Yes.
wow. I mean, they just really like to be surrounded by the people. And that's really neat because that would take a lot of work. Like, I think I would be stressed out, like, everything's got to be perfect, everything's got to be, but they just, roll with it. That's their lifestyle. And I think that's great. Yeah.
Well, Mimi is very, very organized. So she's got everything like lined up, and
Oh,
she's got a plan. She start very, very early, and
oh,
then,
he's the
you
planner.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, Mimi's a planner too. So that's why, even though that we're thinking that, hey, basically, I guess the point that I'm trying to say is that she makes it easy,
That's
because
good. Yeah.
even Christina, I mean, obviously, as far as business, Christina's the one who takes care of that, but then Mimi is a big part of it too, and then Craig, obviously, and the team. you
Yes.
know they
Yeah.
they they know when to delegate. Huh?
They've got a great team. Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. So I know that it's like Mike, like when Mike does a video and takes a dent out, you think it's an easy task when it's really not. He just makes it look so easy, right? Because
Yes.
for one, he's very experienced, and then second, he knows what to do with his video and his production. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I know for a fact that after the open house, we're heading to their home. Hopefully, I got that right, that information, because if it's wrong, I am screwed. Excuse me, folks. And then I think, so our event is starting on Thursday and Friday. Then Wednesday, I think, is the IMI class, and Vinny is running that show. So, so
Awesome.
I'm happy that you're going to be there. So I guess this is the first time you're going to be going to their home, and that's going to be fun. I like the bonfire at night,
Mhm,
actually.
mhm. I bet that's so nice.
You're going to have to drink with me, Maria.
Oh no, I'm trying to live clean. I'm like, I'm trying to watch what I eat. I'm trying to do water with lemon. That's my, oh, yeah.
Well, me, it only takes one drink, because after that I start getting hot. I'm allergic to alcohol, but I just
Oh,
do it.
I do.
Yes,
I
yes.
did
I
not
don't
know
have the
that.
enzyme that breaks the alcohol,
Oh,
makeup.
yeah.
I know I'm talking chemistry now.
Yes. Now see,
Yeah.
you're pretty good at
So
science now.
yeah, that's why I get red. I turn red, and then I start itching, and then what do you call this? After one, I'm done. So
One
I
and
know when to stop.
yeah.
Yeah, I just do it for occasional, like if I'm hanging out with someone, but then, or people, then I'm done after that. So that would be nice to actually hang out with you,
Yeah.
after the open house.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. Well, folks, we are about, like, I think about an hour, and like, yeah, a good hour, right, Maria?
Yes. Mine says an hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah, we started late, so it's
Oh,
about that time that we need to go. And then we're gonna have a part two. This time we're gonna have a guest. So it's either gonna be Christina or a mystery guest.
okay.
You know what I mean? Okay,
Yeah.
so wait for part two. Again, folks, I appreciate you listening to us. This is Mary at Mary Unapologetic, and my co-host.
Mm-hmm. Maria Kallenbach, Maria with A1 Tool.
Okay, so we are done.